Hey, what's going on guys? Techthusiast here, and this is my review of the iPhone 10. Here is the general specs. There is no Plus model. The only difference here is the storage and the price. Now when I first held the iPhone 10, I was quite surprised. It felt great in the hand and had a premium feel to it. I personally found it to be the perfect size and it just felt that good to hold. The iPhone 10 is reinforced by surgical grade stainless steel. On the left of the device you have the volume rocker and the alert slider. On the right side is the SIM tray and the new side button, which has several functions which I will touch on later on in the video. On the top there's nothing there. Headphone jack is not coming back, so forget it guys. Finally, on the bottom there are two speaker grills, of which one is an actual speaker and then the lightning port in the middle. Like the iPhone 8, the iPhone 10 has an all glass back which allows wireless charging. Apple claims it to be the most durable glass ever in a smartphone. It is still glass, and if it breaks it will cost you a lot to repair. The screen is just amazing. Apple chose the best mobile OLED technology available in the market from Samsung and fine-tuned it close to perfection. The colors look rich and the accuracy is on point. You have to... What the heck is that? That thing right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the infamous notch. Here is a better look, and yeah, it can be an eyesore. Now this can be justified as it houses a lot of technology in that space, which includes the infrared camera, dot projector and other bits which makes Face ID possible, and I'm coming to that very shortly. As much of an eyesore it can be, if you're not looking for the notch then it's not noticeable to a certain extent. Right now there are some popular apps that don't use up the whole screen, like Google Maps for example, the SkyGo app, and there are many more out there, but it's only a matter of time until developers make the necessary changes. Now the big change is the Face ID, which replaces Touch ID. I did have my doubts, and for the most part it works very well. The setup process is very simple. Just rotate your face in 2 steps and that's it, your face is registered. I also assumed that Face ID won't work in the dark, and I mean completely in the dark, and I was proven wrong. It does work. I have to say, Apple have hit the ball out of the park with this one. So to emulate a home button press, you just swipe up from the bottom of the screen. If you want to bring up the Recents app, you swipe up and hold on the screen until the apps appear. You can't dismiss the apps straight away by flinging them up, as it takes you back to the home screen. Here is a pro tip. To bring up the Recents app quickly, just swipe up towards the right like so. To dismiss them, you will have to hold on to a recent app until the minus icon appears. You can then either press the minus icon or fling up the apps to close them. If you want to cycle through your open apps one by one, then you just swipe left or right on the bottom of the screen. The control center has now moved to the top of the screen, so now it says swipe down from the right side to bring it up. If you force touch some of the toggles, it gives you extended options which can be handy. You can customize which toggles you want in the control center from the settings. However, there are a few permanent toggles which you cannot change. Swiping down from the top left side of the screen brings you to the lock screen. There are 2 shortcuts here activated by force touch. Here you can see the torchlight in action. The other shortcut is the camera app. For some reason you cannot customize these 2 shortcuts. Maybe this will change in the future, who knows. One of the other changes is the side key. When you long press it, that will bring out Siri. In order to turn off the phone or bring up SOS, an extra step is required. What you will have to do is press and hold the side button and one of the volume rockers together. Now I don't know about you guys, but I don't like this implementation. For media consumption, the screen is brilliant. It natively supports HDR, which means it allows you to see deep true blacks to pure bright whites. There are 2 speakers, one on the top and the other on the bottom, and they produce good quality sound. Now moving on to the camera. Here are some sample photos, and as you can see it takes very good photos. It's definitely up there as having one of the best cameras in a mobile phone available this year. It consistently performs very well for daylight photos and does well for low light photos, indoors and outdoors, beating the Pixel 2. Here are some portrait photos which was hit and miss but does work more often than not. I have done photo and video comparisons, which includes 1080p, 4K and slow motion videos against the Pixel 2 XL, which you can find on my channel, and the Galaxy Note 8, which will follow shortly. Just gonna move up here and check out this gang of gulls. Oops, they started to fly away. I'm just going to move it aside, move up slightly faster, a jog, to see how the OIS is. And another quick jog this way. Here is a slow motion video which was recorded at 240 frames per second at 1080p, which no other competitor phones are capable of doing this year. When it comes to gaming, the iPhone X can handle anything that is thrown at it. Some of the demanding titles such as Asphalt Extreme run very smooth without any stutters or lag, and that is thanks to the A11 Bionic chip. Okay, time to touch on some of the things that I don't like, starting off with that camera bump. While the iPhone X looks really sleek and premium, the camera bump ruins it from a design perspective. It's as though Apple don't care how big it looks. It would have looked so much better if it was flush. If you have the phone laid on a flat surface and started typing something, you will get a wonky experience. It can get quite tricky and annoying as the phone will start moving. I have talked about it before, but I cannot stress enough how silly it is that Apple did not have the camera setting within the camera app. This means you cannot change the video resolution and FPS from within the app. There are a handful of settings and modes already there, but they could have easily added a settings icon or bring it up with a gesture. But instead you have to exit the app, go to settings, scroll down until you find the camera settings, go in, then change the resolution from there. Really, Apple? How hard is that to implement? One of the things about iOS is that everything is quite simple except this for some reason. As good as Face ID is, the swiping up to unlock is flawed. It should have allowed you to unlock by swiping up from the middle of the screen, as it would have made one-handed unlocking easier. Or maybe add an option that you don't need to swipe up, just unlock straight away. Let me know in the comments. Here I'll just show you again how it can get a bit tedious for one-handed usage, as you have to swipe up right from the bottom of the screen. And finally, the Animojis. It is what is dubbed as the future of emojis. It is kind of cool how the Animojis mimics your facial expression to a certain extent. Here is the robot Animoji. Its eyes open and close if you do the same, and that looks quite neat. Now how often you'll be using that is a different story. Animojis that are sent to other phones, which is not an iPhone X, it will come up as a video file. The alien Animoji is one of the best ones. If you raise your eyebrows, its head spikes up. I'm guessing that there will be new Animojis available in the App Store down the line. Now I don't know why this is an iPhone X feature, because from what I have gathered, if you cover up all the sensors except for the front facing camera, the Animojis still work. So realistically, this could work on the iPhone 8, but Apple decided to keep it exclusively for the iPhone X, which I think is an underhanded move. What do you guys think? So that brings me to the end of the review, and let's get one thing straight. This phone is really for someone who's immersed in the iPhone ecosystem and doesn't want to leave. Don't be one of those people who buys this phone but doesn't even know how to transfer files or use iTunes, because you're just throwing your money away just to say, hey, look at me, I have the iPhone X. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the form factor of the iPhone X is great. It has a solid camera, the raw power of the A11 Bionic keeps the phone snappy. The well implemented Face ID all come together to create a new direction for the iPhone. So is the iPhone X worth buying? Well, no. I wouldn't buy it because the price is just ridiculous. Only a brand loyalist will buy it. For that money, I would want a phone near perfection, and that means I don't want to see that notch. Smart software decisions and customizations. I find the battery life to be good, should be better, as I can just get through the day with moderate usage. And come on, for that price, the fast charger should have been in the box. But let's be honest, if you're a die-hard iPhone fan, you will buy it regardless of what others say. It will be interesting to see what Apple do in the future. Will the Touch ID return but under the glass? Who knows? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you in the next video.